Hey, welcome back everybody, Mr. Fix-It. I'm here in the shop, and believe it or not, I had such a great response from the video on the John Deere mower deck. If you remember that one, maybe you have to go back over the videos. But the spindle came right out, popped off. There was a big hole. So I have to come back and tell you what I did, because there were so many good ideas in the comments that I actually went with a few of them. So stand by. I'm going to take you from start to finish on sewing up this project and getting this lawnmower back in the grass where it belongs. So first off, if you take the time and hit the like and subscribe button, hit the bell, share the video. Everything helps me to make more videos, and I love making videos on subjects to help people. You realize that even if I know how to do something, I will go on the internet and study it, because I'm just curious over how many different ways there are to fix something, or how many products are out there that are new. There's all kinds of exciting things you can look up. But to get back to the issue at hand here, please like and subscribe. That'd be very, very nice of you. I thank you. Anyway, to get back to it. So what I did was I did go and I ordered a ring. I ordered a ring. I don't know if you could see it. There's the ring. Okay? And I did have it welded. I can't weld, so if you can weld, that's great, just weld it. But I had a gentleman weld the ring on, and then I had to clean it up with the grinder. But after that, this was the spindle that was on it. As you can see, thing's pretty shoddy, pretty used up, was vibrating around and all. So I didn't want to use this when I ordered another one. Well, I got a point here. Pay attention, because this is important. The new spindle, I picked that up, but I wasn't going to use the old bolts. But the ones they sent with the ring, they never sent any with this, which I think they should do. They should send you new bolts when they send you a new spindle. Just charge you for it if you have to. It all means less work, more convenience. So they didn't do it. They didn't send me new ones. I would recommend that you do order new bolts when you order a new spindle. And reason being, the ones that they sent me with the ring do not work for the general purpose that these are self-tapping bolts, which I really never thought they had. I mean, logic dictates they had them, I just didn't know it. So you see that they're tapered on the end. Tapered. See that taper right there? Okay, so you stick this in the hole, and believe it or not, the reason you do that is because the thing comes with no threads. I don't know if you can see inside there. There are no threads in that hole. So when I got it, I'm like, there's no threads in the hole. So I went online, and I learned that these are self-tapping bolts. They go in, and the reason behind that is because they're supposed to make their own groove and less likely to vibrate loose and cause a problem. Well, as you know, they will vibrate loose and cause a problem. Hence the reason why we're here. So what I did was I took my vice grips, okay, and I took my carburetor cleaner, which is right here, and I sprayed my old bolts. So I didn't really have the time, and I think to order new, and I think the old ones will work. I sprayed them with the cleaner, and then I took my wire brush and I just wire brushed the old ones off nice and clean, so those threads shine through and there's nothing stopping them from threading that new hole. So I cleaned them all off one by one, and interesting enough, online I did Google this, and also there's other talk forums like Reddit and all, but they said that when you do these bolts, okay, when you try to seat these into the hole, it's better to do them with a wrench instead of a driver. At least start them with a wrench instead of a driver, because you can easily send this in and strip the actual threads that you're making in this hole. So from experience, because the old one, I did try to put one of the bolts that they sent with the ring. This was the actual bolt. I did try to put one of them in the old one, so I was experimenting, and believe it or not, the driver sheared it right off inside there. So I was going to try to attempt to get it out just to see how good my skills are, but I haven't accomplished it yet. But it did shear it right off, so I figured I better not use those bolts on the new one. Plus these bolts are not self-tapping, hence I go back to the self-tappers. Now these are 10 and I've got a wrench, so what I did was I just try to keep it straight and very gently I seat these new threads. Like I said, very gently. You want to turn it in because you don't want to strip it and you don't want to break the nut off. So I did this to all 4 of them, and then what I'm going to do is turn it back out, and then I will hand tighten them as far as I can and then use the driver. But I got to make sure I have my driver, okay, on. It has different speeds on it. I got to make sure I have it on 1 so not to tear up the new bolt. Capiche? So we'll tighten these as far down by hand, and then I'll screw them back out, and I will attempt to put them back on the deck and get the mower back together. And at that time, I will come to you when it is finished so you can see my results. So, as I was saying, I was going to use the driver. I even put a new battery in. But after second thinking it, I figure I'm just going to tighten these down by hand with a ratchet. And that should be sufficient. It's usually sufficient for everything else. I don't want a chance doing the same thing I did to this one. That's knocking that bolt off right in the hole. So if I did that to the new one, I would have really been upset. So I'm glad I tried that on the old one. So keep in mind, every little thing you do, don't think you're second thinking yourself, because sometimes you need to second think things through before, because you could really mess it up and cause yourself a lot more work and a lot more money. So it doesn't hurt to double check, to double think. So the John Deere lives again. Thanks to all of you for your comments. I did read every one of them and take them into consideration for getting this spindle back in place and working right. Now, I did want to go over a few things on the spindle replacement. By the way, it was this spindle right down here on the deck that was replaced. So we ordered a new spindle because of all the damage on the old one, but I just wanted you to know and review that these spindles come with self-tapping screws. So the new spindle, there were no threads in the holes to secure it to the deck. They actually come with, well, they're supposed to come with these self-threading bolts. They didn't come with that, so I recommend ordering new bolts. I used the old ones, but it never seemed like it secured itself down. I tightened it by hand because I was afraid that the gun was going to strip it. Another thing is the arbor was a different size. So I had to go down to the hardware store and get a different nut to secure the blade to the spindle. And that was, mine was 16 millimeter, and it was the finest thread. But it would be easier if you do it before. Take this down, so check your spindle when it comes. If it doesn't have a nut to secure the blade, you might want to take it right to the hardware store and grab yourself a nut. Another thing is, on the welding of the ring to the deck, that was a great idea. Because of the threads not securing that well, I feel more comfortable that I welded that ring. So thanks for all your input, and I think the thing will run for a little while longer. So peace out.